Hi guys, today we have a guest on our YouTube channel, and he is my best friend and he is a world renowned machine learning engineer. And since this is after all a nationalist channel, we are first going to discuss his journey, how he came into this career. Then we are going to discuss his field and its relevance to India. And then we are going to discuss how it helps India in the future and what's the future of this field in India and how India can develop it better, etc. So, starting with this, his name is Shayok Paul. He lives near my home in Kolkata. And so, first, Shayok, tell us, how did you get into machine learning in engineering as a student from your class 12 days? What was your journey?
Well, thanks for having me in your podcast. I really appreciate it. Um, from a very nascent stage, I think I have always been attracted to the field of computer science. So that has always been there. But my introduction to machine learning was during my undergrads, way back in late 2015. I ended up taking a course called pattern recognition and machine learning during my late second year, as far as I can remember. And I think I haven't really looked back ever since then. I really got hooked to the field after studying it for a while, and then I decided to sort of pursue it as a career option. And yeah, that was my journey.
Is this the usual trajectory that all machine learning engineers take in India?
I don't think so, because machine learning is still kind of a buzzword. It's the one of the best technologies to be around because of the kind of impact it can have. So many folks start their ML journeys because of the buzzword,
Right.
rather than studying the nuances
Acha.
and the nooks and crannies of the field even before getting deeper into it. So they often get into the field just to have that cool aspect in their resumes or CVs or whatever. But my journey was different. I think I got introduced to the field as a part of my undergrad curriculum. So yeah, I had to study it no matter what. So yeah, after studying it for a while, I really got interested and decided to pursue it as a career.
And how did you study it? Who guided you? Or was it self taught? Or was it just Google and YouTube?
Well, the curriculum helped a bit because it provided me
Which
with
curriculum?
my undergrad curriculum helped me a bit.
IT.
Yeah. I did my BTech in information technology, for those who do not know. So the undergrad curriculum course helped me a bit. It presented me with a structured sort of a syllabus, which got me started, and I used textbooks. I think I followed the one written by Christopher Bishop. That was very mathematical. It was mathematically rigorous to some extent. I did not really like it because I believe more in doing things. So I had to sort of reinvent the wheel back in 2018, where I really needed to sort of upskill my ML chops. But yeah, my initial study materials were all from the Christopher Bishop's book.
And how did you know which books to read?
Well, our professors suggested that okay, you should probably start with Christopher Bishop's book, and then when I delved deeper, I started discovering the references provided in that book, and I also used Google for certain concepts like, hey, I am having trouble understanding this concept. Which resources should I follow? And then Google threw a couple of resources at me, and then I sort of followed the rabbit hole, and then
Acha.
I discovered things.
So, do you think in this trajectory, in this journey, do you think you did everything right? Or if you were to give yourself, your past self, some advice on this trajectory, would you change anything?
Yeah, definitely. I think I did a couple of things wrong. I did
Acha.
not know about them. That has
Acha.
to be the primary reason. If I were to change something, I think I would change the very first course
Oh.
I started off with. I probably would have chosen a separate resource in order to get myself started in the field, because they are way more hands-on, and they
Give us names, Mane.
yeah, I'm gonna give you names, but let me set the foundations first. So they pique your interest, and they are very consistent at doing that. I mean, courses like the ML specialization by Andrew Young, the course from Fast AI called Practical Deep Learning.
All of this in Coursera?
For coders. No, the Fast AI course is on the fast.ai
Acha.
forum. It's free. It's available for free on YouTube. The ML specialization is on Coursera. It's from another company called deeplearning.ai, and Ruyang sort of founded it, and Ruyang also co-founded the Coursera forum. So that's that. Yeah, I probably would have started with these two courses, and if it were to books, then I would have chosen Grokking Deep Learning or Grokking Machine Learning.
And how many your Coursera has been a big part in your life, right?
Yeah.
What all courses have you done there?
Well, I did the machine learning specialization, which itself consists of 5 courses. Then I did the deep learning specialization, again from Andrew Young himself. Then I did the applied data science specialization from Michigan, I think University of Michigan. Then there were a couple of courses around a framework called TensorFlow. Then I also did a course on mathematics for machine learning, because math is important.
Okay, then that brings me to the most obvious question that everyone asks. How much math do you need for this field?
I think it's a serious question to ask, because without mathematics you won't be able to
of course.
reason enough reason enough about things in this field. Because machine learning is not just about traditional software engineering. Machine learning actually has a science component inside of it that will be required at every step of the way. So it's really needed. I would say if you had your +2 education in the science background, if you had math or physics or chemistry in any of the stage of your +2 education, I think you have all the foundations that you need. Things like basic linear algebra, matrix multiplication, basic probability, basic statistics, and central tendencies. From statistics you specifically need the components that you learn in the central tendency chapter, and then you of course need differential calculus and stuff. All of this we are taught in the +2 science education curriculum. So if you studied those even remotely, I think you will have all the foundations.
And he also did a art of music production course from the Berklee College of Music, a 6-week course in 2013. That's how I met him, because I also took that course in Coursera. And what's your opinion on the idea of being a researcher versus doing actual job for a company?
Yeah, good question, I think. See, machine learning jobs can have different facets. Many jobs will actually require you to do research plus engineering.
Achha.
I mean, there are domains where ML hasn't been applied before, so you need a lot of, looking down from first principles. You need to break down things into smaller problems, and you need that first principle analysis in order to come up with solutions. That requires a lot of research, but in order to sort of see those research happening or coming to fruition, you need a lot of engineering. So many jobs will actually require you to do both, and in my current job at ML, I have had the opportunity to do research and at the same time focus on engineering ML based solutions. But there are of course other organizations where ML engineering is of the topmost priority. Probably they are a product based company where they have sort of figured out the research, or they have a separate team for separate team of research scientists where you have been hired in order to take all the concepts and all the science the research scientists are coming up with, and then your job might be to take those things to implementations and sort of deploy them with your engineering rigor. So machine learning jobs can have different facets. Maybe you are just an engineer, you need to know the ML related components in order to do the engineering part well, but many jobs will also have a bit of a mix of both research and engineering.
And you also have a best-selling book on Amazon, Teaching Python. Tell us about that.
Well, I won't say it's a best-selling book, but
It used to be a bestseller.
Uh,
It sometimes becomes a bestseller from time to time.
well, yeah, I wrote that book with one of my university juniors. His name is Anubhav Singh. The book is Deep Learning for Web.
Which university? WBUT.
Yeah, later the name was changed to Maka UT, Maulana Abul Kalam
Oh.
Azad University.
Yeah,
of
he's a nice
Technology.
person.
Yeah, very nice person.
And how did you decide that, okay, let's write a book?
Well, the publisher reached out to me first, and
Acha.
then I already knew that for all things web, Anubhav, my university junior, was my go-to person. So I reached out to him to gauge his interest, whether he would be also interested in co-authoring the book with me. So we decided, okay, I'll probably take care of the conceptual components and also contribute to the coding aspect of things, because in the book we also show a lot of code snippets so that readers can pick the code and use them inside their own projects. So yeah, it was decided like that.
How many hours do you work in a day? Just on your office work?
I try to keep it to 8 to 9 hours.
And after that, what do you do?
I work out, I ponder about things, and I also have a lot of engagements with the open source initiatives, my personal projects and stuff like that, and that comprise of about, I don't know, 3.5 hours.
Tell us about your open source works, which you are just giving back to the field. What are the things that you have already done, and what are you working on right now?
Sure. I think particularly the ML community benefits a lot from open source work. There are reasons for that. Because if you see, the very purpose of working on open source software is to bring transparency, accountability, and also to give a platform to the interested developers to have their opinion, to have their voice into the rigorous decision making that goes behind the development of open source software. And transparency is of utmost importance when it comes to machine learning, because when you read a paper or when you read a research article or whatnot, you are just looking at the numbers, and as a practitioner you would want to have that willingness to reproduce those numbers and get benefited from those. You would want to implement the techniques discussed in the papers or the research articles or whatnot into your own works, and potentially hope that this would further improve the end performance of the system. Now if you do not have the code available to you in the official capacity, it can get very non-trivial at points, and you might end up introducing silent bugs to the system, which is not really desirable. It can cost you thousands and thousands of dollars, because for a machine learning project to cherish some amount of success, you need to put in a lot of resource. Companies need to understand this. So the more the open is this kinds of works, the better it is for the community, so that they can build on the shoulder, on top of the shoulders of the giants, and sort of get benefited from them. And if the giants decide to keep their shoulders private, then it benefits no one. So that's why I wanted to comment a bit on why specifically the machine learning community benefits from the open source stuff. And I have been benefited from open and public work a lot in my career, so I feel a moral obligation for this sort of stuff. That's why I try to give back to the community in my own ways. For example, I try to be active when it comes to writing and sharing my learnings. I do that by working on blog posts and giving out talks, lectures, and tutorials at different conferences and meetups. And then I also try to contribute to the development of open source softwares like Keras CV, Hugging Face Transformers, and so on. Both of these libraries are widely popular in the ML community, and they are used by thousands and thousands of developers. Just knowing that my contribution would probably be helpful for one individual, I think that's a feeling that I cannot express in words. I mean, it can sound like flowery words and all that, but it is a feeling that I do not take for granted. So yeah, I'm currently working on a few things related to the Hugging Face Transformers library. I hope to share them soon.
And do you remember how many blogs and papers have you written? Do you have a number in your mind?
Paper wise, I think I try to contribute to the research community in my own ways too. I haven't authored that many papers, because for me it's not just about the freshness of the idea, it's also the potential impact my idea can have. For example, there was this paper called Attention is All You Need. I think it came out in 2017, and after reading that paper, some thoughts sort of occurred to my mind, and it took me about 4 years to formalize the experiments, set those experiments properly, and find a collaborator to sort of work with me and publish at a tier 1 venue. And this is a rigorous process, and I try to sort of do it on my spare time. So I mean, if I were to give you a number, probably I have written 5-6 papers that are peer reviewed and have been published at good venues. But blog wise, I think I have written more than 50.
Okay. Since your job is essentially sitting down in a chair and bending your neck with a bad posture at an electronic gadget for your entire day, how important is health for you, and what are the steps you take to ensure you are in good health and you live a long time and not have a heart attack at 42?
Good question, hard one, and also probably one of the most neglected ones for a software engineer.
Yeah, exactly.
Because by the virtue of the job, we do not get to have a lot of active movements in our life, and I think without active movements, it's difficult for you to lead a healthy, happy, and active lifestyle. So yeah, I have been an obese person for about a year, so I know this firsthand how painful it can become, especially when you do not get to sort of get into that active rhythm of things. I used to feel sleepy, bloated all the times.
Achha.
I was feeling like I don't have the energy to work on things anymore, even when the things were quite exciting to work on. So that was a bummer in its own kind. So I decided to sort of do something about it. I started by controlling my diet. I started to do intermittent fasting, 2 meals a day. I restricted my diet. And then thanks to you have been a great inspiration in changing the diet and sort of maintaining it. I become a vegan. Once I started realizing the benefits, I became a vegan. But I have to sort of admit that I also started disliking the taste. The broiler chicken that we get is probably full of shit. It's worse than having I don't know. I mean, it's bad. It's bad for your health anyway, and it's all there in public knowledge. I don't know why it is so hard for people to go and take a look for themselves. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I become a vegan. That also has had a great impact on my health. And
how
then,
long back?
It's been 2.5 years now.
Okay.
And then I started to work out. I started taking baby steps. I have always taken a great deal of interest in cricket. I used to play cricket with my friends, but not on a sort of district or anything like anything like that. But I used to play cricket on a regular basis. So yeah, I started to work out and tried to make it a habit, and it's a habit now. And I'm fortunate and thankful that I have been able to keep at it no matter how hard things became. It provided me with an institution and a foundation to rely on, and it greatly helped me up my mental health game and mental stability, because in things where I was not finding enough clarity, I was always able to sort of get out of it stronger. So
What workouts do you do? Do you go to a gym?
no, I do not.
Why not?
I think gyms in my locality are anyway shit. They do not have
that's
good
a problem.
they do not have good instructors, and
Yeah.
without good instructors your health can take a back seat.
Yeah.
So I decide to rely on folks like you and also study the science myself, and I I sort of rely on my own inferential abilities, cause ML and making predictions, that
Yeah.
sort of thing is my bread and butter.
Yeah.
So I try to use my own understanding and instincts and try to sort of do all the workouts based on my body requirements.
What are some of the workouts you do at home?
I try to focus on things that improve your lung endurance game, thanks to you again, and also improve your foundational and core strength. So naturally things like flutter kicks, scissor kicks, crunches, and basically things like that, planks, London bridges, things like that.
And what about chest, arms, shoulders, and those kind of things?
Push-ups are something that's that has become a part and parcel of my body, I would say. And push-ups, I think I learned it the hard way. It probably took me more than 3 months to get 5 push-ups done right in one single go. So I know this firsthand how hard it can be, but I'm happy that I was finally able to do push-ups in the proper manner. So yeah, push-ups for other strength related stuff. I have a couple of kettlebells in my home, thanks to you again. So I do the kettlebell swing and all that.
And you said that workouts helped with your mental health. So when you were obese, what was your mental health like?
I was not feeling that confidence that I can get out of any hard situation.
Okay. Then how did that feeling, how did you cope with that feeling to instead start working out, which is even harder for an obese person?
Well, you need to probably start somewhere. I was not happy with myself that even when things were pretty exciting to work on, I was not feeling feeling enough energy to work on them. That did not sit right with me, because never ever in my life I have gone through a period like that. So it did not sit right with me. So that was the sort of first kick from my own self, that things need changing. And I also do not come from a family that complains a lot. They believe in hard work. Again, flowery words, but sounds like a pep talk, but it is what it is. So, and my parents also sort of pushed me, you are becoming obese, you need to do something about it. So instead of making an issue out of that, I sort of took that in a constructive manner, and then I started to look for ways, look for improve where I could improve, and bring about the positive change.
Are your parents hardworking because they are immigrants from Bangladesh?
Not exactly, like not immigrant, because my grandfather came here in about 1930s. So I won't say immigrant.
And they stayed here?
They stayed here
Since 1930s?
1930s.
Okay. Why did they come here? For jobs and all?
Posting, yeah. My grandfather had a posting here. So
Okay, from Bangladesh?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you don't think your parents were toxic for calling you fat?
why would they? They cared about their son. They saw a bad trait happening to their son's body, because their son hadn't been an obese person ever in his life. So they decided to sort of express their thought, have a decent conversation with me, and yeah, that's how.
Wouldn't that decrease your inferiority complex? Wouldn't that get increased, and your morale would get decreased because of getting called fat?
With my parents, there's no ego and stuff like that, because your parents would always want the best for you. That's what I believe. I come from that school of thought. So
And when you were having mental health problems, and did you think of therapy and counseling?
well, first of all, in 2018 I did not have enough pennies to go to therapy and all that. So I had to rely on ways that did not cost me, $1,000 or something like that, because even affording $1,000 was problematic for me. So I decided to focus more on natural and simpler ways to get out of that situation.
That being diet and workout.
Yeah.
So, what are your hobbies then, other than working out? We have almost covered your 24 hours in the day. Is there any more hours left to do anything else?
Yeah, apart from my personal technical projects, I also try to study a bit about Indian history, which has been ignored by Indians, I think.
Yeah.
So
Indians.
I mean, the past governments have had a role to play, I think, because there are things like if I am being proud of my country, then it's looked down upon. I have had that mentality, but I think I have that awakening inside of me now that okay, if I am proud of my country, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
What books caused that awakening?
Again, thanks to you, folks like Sai Deepak helped with that, and also books like Land of Seven Rivers by Sanjeev Sanyal.
And what was the first realization you had while and after reading Land of Seven Rivers?
Lies and facts. Before that, it was lies, and lies. And after reading Land of Seven Rivers, facts, information, facts, more information, more facts.
So, what board did you study in school?
The state board. I come from West Bengal, so West Bengal state board, and for higher secondary, the state council.
Then usually those boards, government boards, students have a problem with English. So how did your English become fluent?
I think hands-on stuff, because our school specifically had a good culture for English. I won't say teachers contributed a lot, but they used to speak in fluent English. So we probably had some mental thing going on that if we follow them, probably that kind of following.
Which school did you go to?
Jadavpur Vidyapit.
Okay.
Probably that kind of following is good, and our parents also encouraged us to learn the language, because it's probably going to be helpful for our careers. So and later in my college, everything was in English, so I had to prepare myself.
What's your connection with Indian culture other than Durga Puja, of course? Okay, now the AC is killing me.
Indian culture, could you be a bit more elaborate?
Are you religious and stuff?
Religious in some parts, of course. I mean,
do you believe in God? Etc.?
My being religious, I think it has its own merits and demerits. For example, before giving a talk, I usually do a namaskar, and I have been doing it since eternity. I think even before appearing for an important exam, I usually pranam kora. I usually sort of offer my pranam to my parents and
Okay.
also to Saraswati.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually do these kind of things before. If I am not near my parents, I usually call them and take their blessings.
Are your parents religious?
My mom is.
Okay.
Ma is definitely quite religious. She offers puja on a regular basis to Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna
At home?
at home.
Okay, all those deities and idols are there inside your home. Interesting. So, we both are fans of Sai Deepak. So, what what do you think Sai Deepak is doing specifically that has been? I have my reasons why he's making an impact in my life. What's the chord he's touching with you?
I think he is helping me to see the value of embracing the values of Dharma and how it helps you to seek clarity above anything else.
And in terms of his politics, do you think it's right or wrong, or do you think it has its place? Do you have agreements, disagreements?
I don't care if it's right or wrong as long as it furthers the cause of my holy nation and it helps awakening uh, my fellow countrymen and women. I think it's fine.
What do you mean when you say your holy nation? What exactly do you have in your mind?
India
And
the Indian subcontinent,
why is it holy?
because it has suffered from numerous invasions, numerous colonizations, Middle East breeds and whatnot, and still it has been able to uphold its culture in some aspects, not all the aspects, and it has been able to uphold what our values are, for example Dharma and things like that. So
Is there any characteristic traits that you find different in Indians that you won't see, any good or bad, in non-Indians? Is there anything you see distinctly Indian about your colleagues versus your non-Indian colleagues, since you work with a lot of people from all over the world? Both good and bad.
I think we do not jump to disrespect someone just out of the blue.
Okay.
But I do not see this trait very common in other nationalities. They do. I mean, I have met with people who have an urge to disrespect folks. I mean, they enjoy being blunt out of nowhere. But I see this to be a rarity amongst Indians.